All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to our monthly town hall meeting. I truly appreciate you taking the time to join us. Weekends are busy. So what we'll do over the next 30 minutes, 45 minutes, we try to keep this short. I try to keep my answers concise and precise. And just so that we could pack in as many questions as we can and being cognizant of time, because this is summertime and there is a lot going on. So why don't we get on with it? I would like to firstly start with a little bit of a recap in terms of what happened, because this is the very first one. We have been having this town hall meeting every month. In fact, in the pre-pandemic era, we were actually having it thrice a month. There were 3 counties in the congressional district 18, and which is now the 16. And we would have a town hall meeting, face-to-face town hall meeting in each of the 3 counties. So 3 meetings a month. And then I was still trying to force it. I remember I was telling my team, no, it's very important to have face-to-face town hall meetings when the pandemic broke out. And I was still trying to see if you could make that. But then finally, I decided to be respectful of the COVID, and we decided to have Zoom meetings. And back in the pre-pandemic era, we had meetings in Loma Mar, we had meetings in Menlo Park, in Mountain View, in Campbell. We would pretty much rotate it across the different city, because I really like meeting with people face-to-face and seeing them in person to understand some of their aspirations, ideas. And that is how we have come this far with the 2022 primary election. We were actually quite thrilled with the outcome, because we had 6 formidable challengers. Lots of respect to them for running. This is what makes democracy work. Now, when you look at prior elections with Councilman Eshu, they were pretty damp before I jumped into the race in 2020. There was basically no competition, and typically it would be a top 2 between Anna Eshu and someone who is affiliated with the Republican Party. And when that happens, it was already over for Anna, because she did not need to run a campaign. Because if you see the district, we have 75% Democrats and 25% Republicans. So it's very hard. The Republican candidate just does not have the number. And it makes it impossible for a Republican to win. And for the very first time in 2020, as a challenger, a Democrat made it past to the next round. Now, how did that happen? Where did this top 2 system of California happen? This was based upon a 2010, it went to the ballot. It was a proposition that was voted by the people of California. And basically, we turned our state, just like Washington, into a top 2 state, where in a primary election, the top 2 candidates, irrespective of the party, it's a jungle primary, where all candidates are in one pool. And everyone, irrespective of party, picks their top candidate. And then the top 2 make it to the next round. And so this started, the very first election to have that format was 2012. And 2014, 2016, 2018 were 4 good years for Anna Eshu. And the average was she would win by 66% in the primary election. And in 2018, she won, I believe it was 74% or 72% or something like that. And in 2020, we ran and her percentage dropped to 61% in the primary election. So it was a reasonable drop. It wasn't the drop that we wanted. We were not quite happy with that outcome of that 2020 March election. And we had just wrapped the city council run in 2018, winning with the greatest number of votes in city history. And there were enough reasons why we wanted to run for Congress, because we said Silicon Valley has never had a tech-savvy leader ever in a million years, and we can fix that. And then I saw how our politicians were selling out of pharma, how the big money was tainting American politics right here in a congressional district. And we said we need to do something about it. So we decided to make a run. And we believed we had a pathway. We believed that we had been on the drawing boards. And after a pretty hard campaign, we knocked on many doors. We ran a fabulous social media campaign. NISU dropped to 61% in that election. And now obviously in the 2020 November election, it was just Anna and myself. For the very first time, she was meeting a Democrat. And she was very worried because she did end up spending a lot of money that she has not spent in prior elections. But the outcome was we did 127,000 votes. We fell short, but we did better than any challenger in the last 30 years of the congressional district. So we finished election night, our head held high, and the feedback came quite passionately from people. Rishi, we don't want you to stop running. I voted for you over an issue, and here are the reasons why. And I believe someone like you can serve. And so we decided to continue running. And here we are in the 4th year of our campaign. We have gone to over 200,000 doors in our congressional district. It's a new district now. And that's the reason why I'm spending time in some of the new pockets like Pacifica, where I had a morning meeting. It was a July 4th celebration, so I took the time to be there. It's a busy Sunday, but I'm very happy to sit down and talk to you a little bit about some of the issues going on. But to wrap this on, to do a little wrap on the election results, we believe what we did was something very significant, which is we dropped Congressman Eshu below 50% for the very first time in a long career, career that started in 1978 in politics. And then 1992 was when she won Congress, and been there for 30 years in office as our Congresswoman. And, she had never dropped below 50%. So that is a statement because more people have voted against her than have voted for her. And so we believe based on that, the red carpet has been pulled from Anna Eshu, and people are questioning her ability to get things done. For example, only 4 bills in 30 years, or rather the inability to get things done, or the fact that she happens to be the #1 recipient of pharma money in the US House, #1. And there's nobody gets more pharma money while she's chairing the House Health Subcommittee. So these are issues that have come up to the fore about Eshu. And people are, it takes a serious challenger to uncover and talk about these issues, which is what we have done. We have spent $1 million over the last 3 years, which I would think that in the last 30 years, if you combine all the candidates spend who ran against Eshu, they have probably not spent more than like $500,000. So we managed to raise money. All our money came from people. We reject the dark tainted money that is polluting American politics. We rely upon people. And we were effective in not only raising money, but also running a pretty solid campaign. This last June 7th election campaign was the best campaign of my whole life. And I was very proud of our team that came together to run just an amazing grassroots campaign. So many new volunteers joining us. And we run a summer internship program. We have the uptick in enrollment is crazy. We are getting a lot of applications now. And back in 2020, we had 1,000 students that came from 29 states to be part of a run. So as you can tell, we have been very effective in reaching out to people and creating that strong branding as to why change is needed. And we'll keep pushing it now between now and election day, which is November 8th. And we believe we have a shot to win this race. And now I would like to point out that our win number for this election is 150,000 votes. There is a lot of data analytics that goes in the back end. We have a great data analytics team, and they do all the research. And what we are seeing is from the 127,000 votes, we need to grow that to 150,000 votes to win this election. I believe it's quite doable. If we did 127,000 votes in the first run, can we do 150,000 votes in the second run? I believe it's quite doable. And we are left with only 2 of us. 6 of very formidable candidates. They are done. They are going on to do bigger, better things. And I wish them all the very best. It's Anna Eshu and myself duking it out again for the next election. Now, what has also happened is, for example, Matt Grocott from San Mateo Daily had published a column where he said, if I'm a Democrat, then he gets my vote. And then you look at Palo Alto Daily Post, David Price, he has said something like, at 878 with 28 years in office, and this was in 2021. So Anna Eshoo will actually be 80 years old this year and 30 years in office. He says that there's been whispers that it's time for Eshoo to retire. And he talks about some unforced error. Stanford Daily has called out the money from pharma as very concerning. So the press that had basically put Anna Eshoo on a pedestal are beginning to talk about some of the issues with Eshoo. And this is what we have been doing because, I'm a mechanical engineer. I don't believe in smear. We just look at facts, data. And what we did was we publicized some of what third-party sources were talking about. Look at Salem Ajuni from the Santa Clara Health Coalition. He has been talking about the fact that Anna is addicted to pharma money, to drug money. And that is a fact. So anyway, I believe there is a story brewing with Anna Eshoo, and why someone like me, a tech executive who works in the artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data industry, should be given an opportunity to bring some tech savvy skills, to deliver some tech savvy skills to Washington, which we have never had in a million years. And so anyway, let's get going. I would like to address the elephant in the room, as they say. There are a couple things that I would like to start off with. We probably received I would say maybe 50 questions on these three topics, about 50 emails, questions. They came from a variety of different channels. And we are not going to call out every person who asked these questions by name, but let me just quickly run through and provide you my perspective. And then I'll give you a hint what these questions are. These questions are related to the Supreme Court. But before we get there, I just want to cover one more thing, which is what people are saying. So Michael basically says that he would like to see the public debate. I would like to see the public debate start with Kumar and Eshoo. She needs to appear publicly and not by those phone call engagements she always does. And then we got this from Lisa. I just want to thank you for your dedication and transparency. This was the first time I declined to vote for Anna Eshoo. You have my vote. Please keep representing the people. And there was an advice from Betty. She said, keep going around meeting people. Rishi came to my door and talked with me, and I voted for him in the primary last week. It really makes a difference to meet in person. I never even saw Anna Eshoo in person. I only voted for her because she's a Democrat and a woman. That was Betty. And we have posted some of these things on social media. You can find them. If you go look at, how do you find my social media? Go to rishikumar.com, and all the social media icons are at the very bottom. We also have a blog, and I probably publish 3 or 4 articles every week on the blog. And we pick up the issues happening around America, and we are publishing our stands because it's very difficult to put everything on the website. We do take some of those new components of policy and we put it on the website. But the best way to get a little drill down on my policies is to actually look at the blog. Now,